Hello, my name is Caleb Snoddy, and today I will be presenting on why you should use calf tubes. So, should cattle feeding tubes be used, and if so, why? First of all, I'm going to start off with a very basic premise on what a calf tube is. It is a plastic bottle about a foot and a half long, and it has a screw top lid with a tube that wraps all the way around with a flared end. And you can fill this plastic bottle with milk replacer, electrolytes, water, milk with electrolytes, milk replacer, everything to give calf nutrients. Now the function of the bottle is very simple. You squeeze the bottle and liquid goes out, and to let air into it to let it flow better, you just slowly untwist the cap. And some of these bottles do have an air release pressure valve on the top. Now the design is very intentional. It has a flared end, as you can see at the bottom of the tube right there, the little small blue part. It is designed specifically so that whenever you put that part of the calf tube down the calf's throat, it makes sure that it bypasses the esophageal tube to the lungs and therefore goes to the stomach, which is very important because one is life and one is death. Now, there's several methods, and a lot of farmers and ranchers will tell you one way or the other, but I'll give you a rundown on what is the easiest ways and easiest methods to go about it. Now, you want to make sure that everything is sterile, because one of the arguments against calf tubes and why some people ban them from their operations or some people ban them from major stock shows, which is the purpose of my paper, was should they be allowed, is that sterilization and improper methodology can lead to the death of a calf. Now you want to make sure the calf's head is facing straight, as in the example on the slide here, and you use the right nostril, left ear method. Now this is right nostril from looking behind the calf, not in front of it. So right nostril, left ear, and that is the direction of which you guide the tube into the calf esophagus. Now, as you can see in the picture, there are two different paths it can take as soon as it hits the esophageal tube, and because the end is so flared and the esophageal tube in the stomach is bigger, the tube should go down to the stomach instead of the lungs. But if it didn't have a flared end, as I mentioned earlier, it could go into the lungs. Now, back to sterilization, it is key because you don't want debris, you don't want dirt, you don't want mud, you don't want little pebbles. You don't want whatever chemical might have touched it, whatever oils might have to go into that calf's throat, let alone its stomach, because that could be fatal to the calf or make it even more sick than it already is to begin with. So always make sure you're sterile. Always make sure the calf's head is facing straight, its ears in line with its body. So as you can see in the diagram, its ears are facing backwards and they're lined up with its spine, facing towards its back end. Now on to when to use the tube. So this picture here, I chose it for a very specific reason, and it shows signs of calf distress. Calf distress, you can see its head is down, its nose is facing downwards, its neck is drooping, its tail is up, and if you look closely, there is yellow manure that is coming from the back end of the calf, which is not natural. Those are all telltale signs that it's sick, especially the way that it's standing, because it's standing sprawled out. Now, the reason to use the tube, and as I mentioned earlier, the different types of liquids or nutrients you can give the calf, are sick calves, calves that aren't nursing off their mothers, calves that need electrolytes because it's too hot out, or they can get heat stroke, they can get sick, they can not breathe very well. There's a number of things that you could use electrolytes for. And then orphan calves, which is a problem in the farming and ranching industry, is orphan calves, because the mother will either die in childbirth or the mother can neglect the calf altogether and say, I don't want it. Now, there's two ways to solve this. The first one, and the best one, is to go find the mother and let her accept it. And the second is a bottle or a calf tube. Now, if the calf won't take the bottle, because a bottle feeding is you hold the bottle to the calf and the calf wants to nurse on it by itself. If it will not do that, the calf must be tubed so that it can get the nutrients to get to the point where it can eat grass and drink water, because from a week to 2 weeks old, it still is going to be primarily drinking milk. Now, like I said, you can use milk or milk replacer. You can buy milk replacer from the store, but regardless, that's what the calf needs. But especially sick calves, as far as electrolytes go, are very, very, very important. Now, why? Why would you use? Why would you use something that could be dangerous and potentially kill the calf? Well, contrary to popular belief on what a lot of people think about farmers and ranchers, they care a lot about their livestock, whether that's their calves or horses, their dogs or chickens, their ducks and rabbits and their so forth and so forth. They do care. And that's what keeps the farmers' lives afloat. And if they didn't care, they wouldn't do it, quite frankly. Now, whether you're raising a bull to reproduce on more females, or whether you're raising a steer to be sold for its meat or byproducts, therefore, or a female to raise more calves, it is very important that the calf stays alive, because the value of life is far more than the value of death. And it gives the calf a fighting chance. So when people say, oh, it's a dangerous method, it's a method that shouldn't be used, it's a method that, quite frankly, is barbaric, you have to say. As a last-ditch choice, would you save the calf? And would you give that calf a chance to fight another day? Thank you.